Hi everyone, as you set up for term 2, we thought it might be helpful to show you how to not only set students' grades to just show letter grades only, no percentages, but to also hide grades entirely for the first couple of weeks, just because kids can sometimes get a little bit freaked out when they see changes to the grade book, and grades will fluctuate quite a bit in the first couple of weeks. So we thought that might be helpful. You'll see here on the left-hand side, I have my teacher account with the grade setup tab, so we can make the changes to the settings. And then on the right-hand side here, I have my student account with my grades. And you can see that with a standard gradebook scale and the final grade settings, A plus minus or A scale or anything like that, and just the visibility settings like this, the students will be able to see the letter grade and the percentage. And if you scroll all the way to the bottom, the course grade at the bottom there. First things first, if you want to just show letter grades, this is something that can only be done if you create a custom scale. And so just keep that in mind. You can only show letter grades if there is a custom scale that you are using. Okay, so to make a custom scale, you would go to the Add button here, and you would add a scale. And then I would just say Test. And you can add as many levels as you like. I'm just going to do a standard A through F1. And I'm just going to use the usual kind of percentages. So you make the ranges. And then it does have to go from 0 to 100, so something to keep in mind. The letter conversion I like to keep somewhere at right in the middle. And then the important thing to check is the only show letter grade right here. If I hover over it, it'll show you. If checked, the numeric value of the grade will be hidden from students. And so this is something that you can, again, only do if you create a custom scale. Save those changes. And now there's a little test scale here. What we can do is select our final grade settings with our test scale. Do keep in mind that a custom scale, if you're using that, does need to translate into letter grades for it to pass back to IC. And then once we've set that scale, we will save changes. And then let's refresh so we can see how it affects my grades. And now you can see that I can only see the letter grades. And so at the very bottom, it'll be course grade B. If you are using a numeric scale in the gradebook to input grades for each individual assignment, students will still be able to see the number of points they got on each assignment. But if you choose to, you are able to make these into letter grade only as well by selecting the A scale for each individual assignment and using an A scale instead of numeric. Then they'll only see letters all the way down. Something to keep in mind. So that's one option where you can just hide the percentages. If you'd like to hide the grades entirely, there are a couple of options here in the visibility settings for the grade setup. There is the hide overall grade in student grade report, and so if I were to save changes for that and then refresh on my student page, I would still be able to see kind of like the overall grade here, but when I scroll to the bottom, there is no overall grade sitting at the bottom anymore. And then if I hide the grading period grades in student grade report and save changes and select both, you'll notice that students don't see what grades they're getting in any of the categories, and so the letter grades that were sitting in each category are now gone as well. And so it depends on what level you'd like to hide them up to. The important thing is obviously, please remember to turn these back on after the first couple of weeks so that students do have an accurate sense of how they're doing in the courses. But other than that, that's all you have to do.